Hello, 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 my darlings. Thank you for joining me on A Slice of Life, A Slice of Life. I'm just been so busy today. I'm late doing my show. But we're going to talk about standards of beauty. Standards of beauty. And I'm going to be one of those people that's going to bite my words. So let's start with standards of beauty. Because they make it your size does not mean you need to wear it. I am the first one to say that. Just because they make it in a 5X or 6X does not mean you need to wear it. And I'm talking about tights and a short crop top, and all your butt is rocking like two washing machines. And then I said, Georgianne, who are you to say that that's not beautiful to somebody? Who are you to say that that is not attractive to somebody? There are websites for men who like big women. And in some countries, big is definitely beautiful. And you used to be a skinny, and then now you still got your baby weight, however many years later, but there's somebody like you. And there's somebody that don't like people that's got much meat on it as you have. So who are you? So I asked myself, who taught us what beautiful means? Who taught you what beautiful means? See, I was never beautiful growing up. Never, ever, ever. I never heard anybody say beautiful. I told you that until I went to Italy. I went to Italy at 21. Yeah, I was in Italy when I was 21 because I had gone to France and I went on over to Rome while I was there. And so, and I didn't work for the airline. I was a school teacher. And that was the first time I heard bell, 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 and bella, and bell, and I just couldn't understand what they were saying, And I know I had at 20, maybe I just turned 21. I was a model in Canada, up in Quebec, way up. I mean, the real city. I'm not talking about Quebec. I'm talking about Quebec, up in the city, Quebec City. And so I modeled up there. And so I guess that was my first time knowing anything about what I looked like. I was never with the queen at Spelman until my senior year, and I declined it because I was like, you didn't like me my freshman year, so now you like me my senior year? So I didn't take it. But nevertheless, I'm saying, who taught you what was beautiful? That was a standard of beauty. Long, straight hair was a standard of beauty. We couldn't wait we had straightening combs, and then they got perms. And then this is how my hair looked all the time. And so I don't know any other look. This is my preferred look. Although I used to wear afro back somewhere when we wore afros. But anyway, who taught you your standard of beauty? Well, it was just it was pushed down our throat. If you didn't have keen features, light skin. I remember telling my Alvin's father, they were advertising for who had the prettiest smile. And people always said I had a beautiful smile, I had beautiful white teeth, and I had I wish I could do it for you, but there's no teeth here. But I smiled, and people love my smile. I said, I'm gonna apply for that. If I heard to start out laughing, I was 22 in the South Atlanta. We're married, and he said, girl, they're not talking about you, they're talking about white people. And I wish I had gone on anyway, so I didn't apply, but because at some point they were going to use my lips and my face and my, how did I know they were going to use me in some other kind of ad? So I didn't do it. But who taught us what beautiful was? And beautiful was never beautiful. We were never beautiful. We had to be skinny or flat. We wore girdles back in the day. Girdles, that a tight something that was tight that we pulled up, and because I remember talking to my husband, I gotta get my girl, got to hold all this, and we were squeezing ourselves in and making our butts flat. When white women and white designers were making dresses with bustles on them so they could have a butt. Who taught us that standard of beauty? Who said that you can't walk around? I think who am I to say it just looks, it looks like you're exposing too much of your body when you're a 5X or a 6X and you wear tights and a short crop top and all this is hanging out, and you go into the grocery store with some things people wear on their head and house shoes. Who said that was a good look? But everybody got mirrors, and that was her look for the day. And it could be somebody home that said, baby, he liked that. she liked that. You don't know who likes what. So who taught us what beautiful means? I remember now, I'm just getting at 82, 82, 83. So I say for the last couple of years, maybe, I'm just wearing my arms out in the summertime. I would never wear my arms out all these many years until after they got some weight, especially when I got this arm. I had a mastectomy. I'm a 3 times cancer survivor, and the first one was breast cancer, so I had to lose a breast so to get better. But I've been here, I'm still here. But anyway, what happens here is um, when they took out the lymph nodes, all this was impacted. So this started hanging. And sometimes you see women with great big arms. Lymphedema has checked. I think that's the word. But anyway, the arm is really huge. And I'm just grateful to have this one, but I never let anybody see it. Now on this side, this is milkshakes and chocolate and croissants and milk, ice cream and all that's on this side. But this is different, it's bigger, and I would never, ever, and you never saw me with my arms out. And then I saw women with huge, wrinkled, scarred, tattooed, everything arms out. And I was like, how can they do that? And then I said, who said my arms couldn't be out? In some countries, when you go to other countries, you see big old women, just huge, arms out, breasts all up to here, out, everything out. And they walking around proudly and somebody hanging on their arm. So I checked myself today. I wanted to have this conversation because it's so much going on in the world that right now, if you got to have your arms out and your neck out and your fat out and whatever else out to relieve whatever it is, because gas is going to be $5. At some point, you're going to have the paper money is going to go away. So they say they're working on it. At some point, you're going to need real gold and real silver to be in this world. At some point, you see the people with a lot of money are giving their cash away. They give you, trying to help people get to the next level because they know something that we don't know. At some point, all of these beauty things really does not matter. It really doesn't matter now. If there were an earthquake, there was an earthquake in Georgia. I live in Atlanta, inside Atlanta, not near Atlanta, not almost Atlanta, not a suburb of Atlanta, but I voted for Andre. So they always say, who you vote, who's your mayor, all right? You have to vote for who the mayor is. The mayor of Atlanta is Andre Dickens. And so the point being, do you live in Atlanta? Well, I live inside of the city of Atlanta. And I forgot where I was going with this about beauty. I don't know where I was going with that. But anyway, I got off on living inside the city of Atlanta. And I have to think about what I was going to say with that. But who taught me what beautiful was you have to love yourself, whatever that is, whatever that look is. I've gotten where, like, I wouldn't wear this anywhere. I would never be seen with all these many different things on, especially with yesterday. I had one kind of theme I had on. I mean, this is good. There's some good stuff now. The bracelet goes with it. The bracelet came from Hawaii. Beverly Mattis got me that on one of her trips. And this came from Africa. I don't know where. Who got me this on one of her Maldives trips? Anyway, Karen got that from somewhere. But I said all that to say that, there was a time when you didn't wear all this because we looked like the other, and that we didn't know that the other didn't care anything about us. That our standard of beauty is an envious one to them, and so instead of saying, "Oh, I love to have the melanin," and they don't have to burn, and they don't have to lay out and get suntan. They made our look, everything about our look was ugly. And you know what? White people don't have to be pretty. Have you noticed that on the TV? They could just be and there I go again. I'm thinking like, when you look closer, they just look like they're just white skin. They can just have white skin. They don't have to be pretty at all. They can just have white skin. But we have, and when you see a pretty black woman, and a lot of pretty black women, we gotta be pretty to be up on TV almost. We gotta have close to a keen features, or close to light skin, or close to something. Except the Africans, they want them chocolate in Africa, and I love that. I'm loving that. That this, because my complexion could never be. I know people back in the day, "Are you pretty to be black?" I never understood that. Who taught them? Who taught people what beautiful means? Who's teaching all this? And unfortunately, they're still teaching it, because beauty is a moving target. It really is. Beauty here is beauty there. Beauty there is beauty here. It's all different beauty. Beauty, as they say, is in the eyes of the beholder. And you see people together, and you say, "Oh my God!" You see a good-looking guy, and you say, "What?" He's with a gorilla. And you're like, "Dang, what did she do?" But he don't see gorilla. He sees something else. And then who are you to? What are you measuring her or his beauty by? Sometimes you see guys with we call trophy women, that they would never get that woman if they didn't have any money. Now we do say that. A lot of us have said that. We know some people like that. The only reason why she's with him is because he got money. Otherwise, she would not be with him. Because when you look at the guy, there you go with the standard of beauty again. We wasted so much time on beauty, and like the beauty queens, and who's the most beautiful, and all the beauty queens that won still are skinny, small, no meat on them, almost flat in the butt. And then now, what makes what lets us know that we've always had something they wanted? The the Botox, not Botox, the BB something, whatever it's called. They're getting their butt so big. That's it. You can buy a butt now. You can buy something and put it on, and you'll have a butt. What? See, they made us believe we were ugly, that everything about us was ugly, when in fact we are beautiful. And from what I see on TikTok, or what I hear on TikTok and YouTube, we have drawn away. They have run us away. You can keep kicking a dog, and you can kick the dog, and after a while, the dog will say, "You know what? I'm out." And I don't want to call us the dog, but I just want to use that as a foundation of what is happening with Black America. We are so out. We are DONE. We're white people. We're done. And I believe that's why maybe we're saying, if I want to wear my hair, if I want to wear a bonnet, that's it, on my head, some house shoes, if I want to wear my pajamas with my stomach hanging out. I was somewhere and the stomach was hanging over the pajamas. I had to catch myself. I had to drop my head. And then I said, "Jordan, who are you? You don't know what that person is going through. You don't know what the gas price is doing." And she felt like coming out. She's like, "Damn, I got to go to the store, period. My baby needs something." I don't want to make excuses for her, but I think we all need to just stop and look at beauty as a moving target. We were never the standard. Our beauty was never the standard. We were the comparison compared to them. You have a beautiful smile compared to what? I couldn't do the smile commercial. You have beautiful skin, and then white people talk about, about your skin, because it doesn't crack. It does something, because we grew up. All my white friends that I taught at Delta Airlines to put Vaseline on, they're probably happy to this day. The kids, I said, "Put Vaseline on your kids." That's what we do back in the day, and that takes away from all the wrinkles and adds moisture to the skin, because we have a different way of growing up. We have a different way of taking care of our body. We didn't want to look ashy when we went out. We didn't know that looking ashy was a sign of not being clean, because you could see the white ash on our black skin. And so it's better to grease up. And because we grease up, we're able to maintain the beauty of the melanin. You know why we take vitamin D? Because we have melanin skin. Black people take vitamin D. White people don't have to take vitamin D, but we do. Because the melanin keeps the sun. It's harder for us to get vitamin D because we got melanin. But melanin also is the root of the intelligence system. You all need to look up melanin. Dr. Timothy Moore at Clark Atlanta University wrote a book on melanin. You want to know about melanin? They wish they had it. All these, so maybe there's a lot of interracial marriages because that white skin is gonna run out. Everybody know how you got that white skin, and everybody knows. They don't want to know. They don't want to admit. And not pointing a finger or beating up on anybody. It's just history. Find your history. There are no white people in the Bible. And there were tons of black people on the earth before a white person came. And how did that white person came? You need to look it up. Black people weren't in caves. The Moors came and got you out the cave. And look up the Moors. I had somebody say, well, what did the Moors do? I had a white person really ask me something like that. I wouldn't even answer him. I'm like, boy, get a book. See, if you stop and get a book, you will find out who you really are. And we need to stop making these comparisons. And I'm talking to myself on beauty standards. Who taught you the beauty? Because we're aging, our body changes, we have fashion cycles. We have learned, though, that we're the fashion people. We know how to put things together. I love watching, what's that I like, House Hunters. Oh, I love House Hunters. I want white cabinets, and they're just bland. I've never seen so many bland houses in my life. My God, they didn't get the color palette thing because the Egyptians did. And the Greeks when the Greeks mixed with the Egyptians, went to the class and burned all their libraries down. That's what they say. So allegedly, then we went from color to bland. We don't do color anymore. They're making sure that everything is alabaster. And that's not the way it was back with the Egyptians. Beautiful black people, this color of my shirt, I swear I have on. So, we were never the standard, and so we should not be compared. We should not be comparing ourselves, but we did. We spent many, many years trying to be like them. And then Lamar Kendrick said, we're not like us, you're not like us, however the song goes. We need to pay attention because we're not. And beauty, to me, a person can be a beautiful person without having whatever the standard. What is that standard? You say something about a person that's just beautiful. God, that's a beautiful person. They have such a beautiful spirit. Such a beautiful spirit. And before you think I don't care anything about white people right now, I don't know who to believe. I got some good people I do like, and some I do love. I mean, we've been friends a while. And I know them. But when they're with their people, I don't know how they're thinking. I don't know what they have to do to stay with their people. They got to stay. They got to be comfortable where they are too. So I just have given everybody a little space. All my white friends got space with me right now because, I don't know what they got to do something to stay where they are, and I don't want to get in an environment and one of their friends say something out the way to me because I'm the one. We won't be friends. Me and that person won't be friends. They already know if I come over to where they are, they already know don't have nobody stupid there because that's not gonna work. And so, sometimes their friends want to come out of a bag with me. And I'm like, I love you, baby, but hey, we ain't ready to have this conversation. We don't even need to be doing this. I'm into the Rodney King. Where are those people now? I want somebody to do. Where are they now? On all these people who beat up on black people and got away with it and laughed and went home and laughed and how they laughing now. Rodney King said, can't we just get along? I would love a can't we just get along conversation in America. But in the meantime, in between time, we are a beautiful people. And we can be a beautiful people collectively, just across America. When you see a kid, you don't say, that's a white kid or that's a black kid. It's a kid, it's a baby, it's a child. When you ever see little interracial kids, not interracial, but kids from different races, how they play together, why we can't keep that? You do an experiment, they just grow up and they have so much fun and enjoy themselves, and they don't know until they get somewhere else that they can't be friends. Back in the slavery day, they bought kids. They would buy a child and bring it to play with their child, and that child would own that child, and they would be the same age. Y'all know that went on. That went on. The child was purchased to be a kid, so the kid can have another kid, and then have his or her own slave after they got a certain age. I think after about 10 or 11, then they separated them. They couldn't be friends anymore. Amazing. Oh, anyway, I started out on beauty, and aging is not the opposite of beauty. I tell you, man, I'm going to tell you, I am 83, and I know that I don't have the same looks. I'm clear on all my looks. I'm grateful every day that I got any kind of look. I'm glad my friends who are 70, my friends were always 13 years younger than me. So I don't know how that was. So I'm 83. So they're not 73, they're 70. I guess all my youngins are 70 now. And we all look good. And I hang right with them still. I don't know. I just think that the way the world is going, if you are 5X and a 6X and you feel like getting up, putting on spandex, I don't even think we got it. I don't think we need to say anything. Anybody needs to say anything about anything. Because a 5 and a 6X in spandex and a 18 in spandex, 16, 18, I don't think it's 16 no more. I think it's mostly 18 in spandex, and a 12 in spandex, and we all black, it's not going to make a difference with white America. Not at all. Because we're collectively black. And nobody's looking at anything but black. Because we're never looked at as humans. I remember never being a human in some places. I couldn't be a human because I couldn't use the same bathroom with you, so you already said that I wasn't human. I couldn't drink the same water with you. You already said I wasn't human, you see. And so I've lived through a period of not being human. I'm human now. And so tonight I'm not asking you to redefine beauty. I'm asking you to reclaim your beauty. If that means whatever it is, just reclaim it. You can see me with no teeth. I'm worried about me with the teeth though. I want some now. And I don't know how to get them now. So I want some. But I want you to reclaim whatever it is. Reclaim it. So just as a side note, I want you to see what I got. This is my work for first quarter. I started my quarter with the Jewish New Year. And then I carried on over. And I was very grateful. I've been waiting. I couldn't sleep last night. I've been in tears too because this is a lot of work. And I got it done. And so now it's the author's copy. I am correcting it. I was so proud to hear my daughter say, Mom, this is a lot of good work. And when I read it and look at it, I just want to cry. I want to thank so many people, besides my family. Monique Earl Lewis believed in me, Dr. Monique Earl Lewis. She said, you can do this. And she pushed me to take all kind of classes. And I got a friend, I won't call his name. He turned me on first to how to do things electronically, technically. And then I told my daughter, and it's been something ever since. I've taken a lot of classes. I have a lot of tools. I know how to put things together. I took the Harvard class. You all know it kicked my behind. Not because it was Harvard, but because it was Harvard. because it was new, digital humanities. Wow. I love that class. And in that class, I found out about GIS mapping. I never heard of any of these things before. It just made me want to know more and know more and know more and know more. And I want to thank, Dr. Mary Hooper over to Clark Atlanta University for believing in my project, and the Absalom Jones Center for Racial Healing, and all the people who came to talk about the trauma of being removed from the neighborhood. And Reverend Doctor, I call him Jerome Banks, and Archbishop John Lewis, who put me in touch with Reverend Banks, and all the people who came to talk to us about being displaced, the displacement of your homes, and the policies and processes that happen to remove people from 27 neighborhoods in Atlanta. And Clark Atlanta took the Who Lived Here, Where'd They Go story, and they have a contract with the city of Atlanta. And I'm very proud to be a part of all of that, and I'm grateful. And so this piece right here, I'm reading it because I got some errors in here. It is the author's copy, and this is what I want to do. I want to say first quarter. I want to be done in first quarter. So the second quarter, I spend time, well, this week really, I'm going to spend time correcting, and then this book would be $111 to get a copy of it. But I have some people who will get a free copy. It won't be free because I'll buy it. I'll buy my version of it. But I want you to have it because you have helped me so much. My department where I worked at Clark Atlanta, I give them some credit. Those people who were there who supported me, specifically Dr. Rico Chapman and Dr. Alma Vineyard, and Dr. Chris Bass. They really were on my side. And so to that end, I got it done. I got it done. I'm grateful. So beauty. What does beauty mean to you? Well, it means to me, you living, you alive, you breathing, then you're beautiful. I love you. I do. And there's nothing you can do about it.